Hello everyone and welcome back to Lucky Loaders 15, where I'll be giving you 3 of my best bets for tomorrow's racing. Before we get stuck into those, I'll just quickly recap on how our selections have ran today. Now I'm making this video just after 4:30 and 2 of our 4 selections have run so far today. Now before I get into those, I just want to say our first original selection that was meant to be going in the 2 o'clock at Hamilton, George Byrne, unfortunately he became a non-runner. That was disappointing there because I did fancy him and so did quite a lot of other people. He had strong form claims, especially from his latest run at Pontefract, and the fact that he was a really well handicapped horse. Definitely want to see where he'll be running next time, but yeah, that was a little bit disappointing. But our first proper tip of the day that ran was Peter the Mayorman, who was our next best at Utox Turf for Harry and Dan Skelton. Was well supported, was made favourite for the race, but in the end couldn't really land a blow, and he was really disappointing considering he'd fallen to a really competitive mark of 118. The form of his last run at Seville, what looked like a nice race, had been boosted, but he just was quite lazy in some of his jumping today and he just didn't really have the attitude for it, and in the end was quite well beaten. And I'm not sure what's going to happen to him. Maybe they might transfer him to another yard, but I think he's lost the enthusiasm for the game now, and unless he maybe goes to another yard and maybe he continues to tumble down the weights, I don't think we'll be seeing him winning a race anytime soon. So yeah, Peter the Mayorman was really disappointing. However, our nap was a nice winner. That was Subjectivist in the 3 o'clock at Hamilton, the Glasgow Stakes for Joe Fanning and Mark Johnston. I thought Joe gave him the perfect ride out from the front. Typical Mark Johnston performer, was very game, dictated the sectionals really nicely, and in the end was quite a convincing winner. I know quite a lot of people fancy Tritonic for Holly Doyle and Alan King, but that horse didn't do anything wrong, but just probably needed to be in a more prominent position, and the way the race panned out didn't suit it. And I just think he bumped into a really nice horse. Subjectivist is actually a half-brother to Sir Ron Priestley, who made the frame in St Leger last year, so it could be a route he goes later on in the season. Subjectivist, he could maybe head towards Leger, but he's definitely going to have a future over Stay and Trip. So Subjectivist was a nice winner. We've still got 2 more selections to run at Sandown tonight. Both of them have been a little bit nibbled in the betting. I think we put them up at double figure prices last night. I think both of them are now in single figures from what I've seen earlier today, so fingers crossed they can give us a good run for our money later on tonight. But yeah, it's been not too bad so far, but hopefully we can end on a high with our remaining 2 selections. But we'll get on to the tips for tomorrow now, and we're going to start off with my long shot tomorrow in the 110 at Beverley. Now I don't fancy too many horses tomorrow. I thought it was quite a competitive, tough day's racing, and want to be saving our powder as well for the weekend, where I'll probably have quite a few tips. But anyway, our first tip of the day tomorrow is going to be running at Beverley in the 110, and we're going with my long shot here with a horse called Warranty for Joe Fanning and Mark Johnston. This horse is currently 12 to 1, and I'm going to recommend an each way bet. Now this horse races in the colours of the Highclere Thoroughbred Racing, and Highclere, they're always associated with good horses. You know, they're one of the most familiar colours out there in the sport. You know, and I think this horse is now down to a bit of a mark where I think he can be competitive in a race like this. And I think the key to this horse tomorrow is going to be stepping up in trip. Now last time we saw it, it finished dead last at Redcar, but for a long way was prominent throughout and was making the running. But I just think it got really badly outpaced, and it did bump into a nice horse of Sir Mark Prescott's called Revolver, and Revolver went on to win again at Doncaster and is now rated 78. Now Warranty was dropped £4 by the handicapper for that run, down to a mark of 57, and I think going up to 2 miles tomorrow will really suit it. And I can see Beverley as well being an ideal track for it. It's a place where normally prominent and front runners can do really well. And I just think of a mark of 57, this horse might have untapped potential over these extreme stay and trips, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if it could go very well. Mark Johnson as well, his horses are running really well, and I think this horse has got a good chance off this mark in this field to go close. I'd like to see it go out there, try and make all, and then if it doesn't get home, fair enough, you know. But I think at 12 to 1, I think that's a bit of a big price for a horse that I think could take advantage of going up in trip tomorrow. And for me, like I said, I think it's got a fair chance of going well, and for me that's why it's going to be my long shot, currently 12 to 1, and I'm going to recommend an each way bet there. We then go with my nap in the 5:35 at Leicester, and I'm going with King Ragnar. Now, some of you might know the reference there from The Last Kingdom, one of my favourite TV shows. You can watch it on Netflix. I really urge you to watch it if you haven't done so already. But I've actually put up King Ragnar both times this season, and I think he's run really well, but just bumped into a couple of nice horses. On his first run of the season, he bumped into Lazuli, who actually did finish second in that race at Newmarket, but Lazuli went on to win a nice race at Sandown, so there was substance to that form. And then last time out, he looked like the winner, but then he just got chinned on the line by Amazing News. And the form of that race has worked out okay, because a third place horse, Wild Hero, for Andrew Bolden, went on to win at Leicester, and that horse, Wild Hero, beat a horse of David O'Meara's, who went on to win at Catterick earlier in the week. So he's had a lot of form boost, and he's now dropping down to a Class 4 off a mark of 85. He has been raised £4 for those efforts, but still, I think he's very progressive, and he could still have a little bit more to offer. I think 7 furlongs as well is a good trip for him, and I think he's got a good draw tomorrow and still won. You don't always want to be towards the stand side at Leicester for some reason. You kind of want to be in the middle if you can. I think sometimes you can get some traffic problems, and I believe they actually run more ground against the rail, believe it or not. It's actually not an advantage sometimes to be at that rail. And I just think David Egan, he's got a good relationship going with Roger Varian, could definitely eke out a little bit more improvement in this horse. They're adding cheek pieces as well, which I think is a fair idea. And off a mark of 85, I think, like I said, he's still got the improvement to come. I could see him maybe reaching 90 towards the end of the season. And he's currently priced up at 7-2, and I think that represents a little bit of good value here. He's been running in better races than this. He's been holding his own. And I think tomorrow he's got a good chance of finally getting his first win of the season. We then go with my next best, which runs in the 625 at Haydock and the Tapster listed stakes. Now, this is the feature race on the card there tomorrow, but I thought Ispolini was worth taking a chance here at 4-1 for Will Buick and Charlie Appleby in the Godolphin colours. Now, this horse is officially the best horse in the race on ratings. He's rated 112. But I think last time you can forgive his effort when he ran in the rearranged Sagaro stakes at Newcastle. The all-weather has never really been his bag. He's been more effective on turf, and if you go back through some of his form in Dubai, it's really good. He's a Group 3 winner over there, and he's always been running in some really good races during his career. He's bumped into the likes of Stradivarius. Now, he is going to be taking on some improvers tomorrow, but I definitely think he's a major player in this race, and if he runs anywhere near his rating, he could be the one they've all got to beat. I know Trushan is in here, and Alignac, who've got the form lines with Caravan of Hope, who most of you will know is one of my favourite horses for obvious reasons, but I'm just maybe a bit unconvinced that this race might just find him out a little bit, and they just might be out their depth. Whereas I think Ispolini is the class act, and he's got a good record on the turf as well, 3 wins from 10 starts. And like I said, if he runs anywhere near that rating, I think he should go close. Charlie Appleby's team have been in good form as well. And I think at 4-1, that represents a good little bit of value. So that's why he is going to be my next best. And fingers crossed, he can get the job done. So that's my final tip for tomorrow. Just quickly recap. In the 110 at Beverley, we go with Warranty at 12-1 each way. We then go with my nap in the 535 at Leicester, King Ragnar, 7-2 win bet as my nap, and then we go to my next best, which runs in the 625 at Haydock with Ispolini, 4-1, and that's a win only bet as well. So they're the 3 tips for tomorrow. If you haven't done so already, please make sure you hit the subscribe button for more videos on my YouTube channel. You can also follow me on Twitter, where my handle is @LuckyLoaders15, and you can also check out my website for a full portfolio of my work, which is www.chrisloaderracing.co.uk. So that's what I got to say on that score. Hopefully we can have some winners tomorrow. Please gamble responsibly, and we'll be seeing you soon.